I'm going to tell my beautiful girlfriend to stop talking to me right now so we can record.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm James.
I'm John, and I'm texting right now. This will be cut, don't worry.
Are you ASMRing to Giselle? You put it on silent?
Yeah, it's on vibrate. So if it goes, that's not my dildo. Don't worry.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm James.
And I'm John.
As you know, this is Games with John and James coming at you for, as we made mention, and many episodes ago, John was like, if we hit episode 30, he's going to do something. I forget what he did, but there was a quote in an episode if we talked about 30. So we're here. Do something, John.
I'm going to take my dick out real quick.
Well, apparently, John is just table jockey flopping.
Whoop.
Did you unrolled it like a fruit roll-up?
Yeah, and I'm kind of getting rug burn because it's just hanging off the ground right now. So let me put it back.
John by the foot?
All right, now that my penis is put away, we can start recording.
He rolled back the fruit by the foot.
Yeah, I have to use one of those twist ties you usually get with bread. It sucks.
He heat wraps it.
Well, no, I used to use like the little clips that you just kind of shink the plastic into. I used to use those, but then I started getting too much scar tissue down there, and it's just a mess.
So it's called roly-poly-holy?
It's like a henna tattoo, but it's scars.
Hey, ladies, let me introduce you to Swiss cheese.
Let me introduce you to Prince Albert's punk rock brother.
Oh, man. Welcome back, everybody. I'm James.
And I'm John.
And this is Games with John and James. This is episode 30.
No, it's not episode 30. It's episode XXX.
Ah! Funny John should mention that. He had made mention many moons ago that if we ever hit episode 30, he jogged my memory, he would actually refer to it as episode XXX.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Be ready to read that as you probably read it already in the episode description.
I mean, we're attracting a whole new clientele. Who would have known?
Yeah, I think we've been attracting them the entire time because we are attractive.
So, as you know, before we start the show, we actually go through a little review of a game. And John may roast me a little bit for this, and I'm okay with that.
I don't even know the game you're going to review, so how could I possibly roast you?
So my hot fire review is for a game that's called Blacksmith of the Sand Kingdom.
More like Cracksmith. We can just get klaxons. We've been over this. I should get an app on my phone.
Just magical blurp.
Just over and over again next to the fart soundboard.
Oh, no. So this game is essentially you are trying to fill into your father's shoes as the court blacksmith, but you also want to be an adventurer. Okay. You literally travel through dungeons, gathering materials in order to make stuff at your blacksmith to sell to the townspeople.
So it's Moonlighter.
Essentially. It is a crafting game.
Oh, God.
And it has been a very relaxing reprieve from the intensity that I have been going through games this year because I looked back. So I keep a written journal of games that I've played. If I put a check next to the name in the journal, it's something I will play again or I need to come back to if I didn't finish. If there's a big line through the name, hey, this is cool that you're in my collection. However, you will never be inserted into a console again.
I would never insert you into anything again.
Exactly.
Also, that is like mystical. So when we actually get like 1 million subscribers and are doing panels at like MagFest and stuff, we got to auction that off for charity.
Just show the journal?
No, just auction it off so people can have it, so someone can own it.
These were the games that James played.
You have no idea what nerds will pay for.
I mean, hey, look at Superman 1 back in the day when it sold for $1 million.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the Superman 1 in really good condition.
The comic book?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like the game, and I was like, what?
Oh, no. Like, if a video game sold for that wasn't through weird means, like looking at you, Wada, that would be very nice and also very detrimental to the collection.
Yeah, probably.
It's like, keep, sell. Keep, sell.
Look at this old musty-ass comic book. I'm going to wipe my butt with it.
Yeah, look at this. I got the toilet paper. Dad, no!
It's not Superman, Daddy.
It's not called crap, man. So, anywho, back to my review.
We're five.
I mean, hey, look at us. We've evolved. We were 4 many moons ago.
Now we're gonna, and one of these days we're gonna turn 6. But yes, continue with your review.
It's like South Park or The Simpsons. We just never age.
Oh my God! Do not compare me to South Park ever again.
So it's a very relaxing experience. If you enjoy kind of crafting, running your own shop, the combat is super straightforward. Characters are customizable till all ends of everything. It's a certified play it for a relaxing experience. You don't have to be serious on.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. It's one of those things where, like, people look at video games or they hear the premise of certain video games and they wonder, how could someone possibly like this? And then they play it and they're like, oh, I get it.
Exactly. I am not ashamed to admit I have sunk probably like 30 hours into this relaxing and enjoyable game. It is my give myself a break from the seriousness because I'm about to leave on yet another work trip.
Fun.
With yet another RPG. And stay tuned for that review.
All right. I thought we were going to go like a music break there for a second. Do we want to introduce the actual thing we're going to talk about today?
Well, before we do, because our topic is going to be completely different from this, it's a warm, fuzzy feeling that I want to ask you because you have no idea what I'm about to ask. You're looking at me like, what are you doing?
All right.
If you could go back to any video game franchise and experience it again for the first time without the critic reviews, without friends spoiling it, without anything out there to kind of take away from it, where would you go in video game time?
I'd go to Metal Gear Solid. Honestly.
Explain yourself.
I'd go to Metal Gear Solid because I played that game when I was like 10 years old. And that was the first game. It was an M-rated game, first off, so I never really got to play those. But it was mature not for its blood and guts and use of the word damn and hell. It was actually mature because I'm a 10-year-old and I'm learning things like about the military-industrial complex and the efficacy and, you know, of the cyborg ninjas and human transmogrification through cybernetics and all this stuff and psychotropic drugs and like the long-standing like kind of sadness of nuclear war and the Cold War fallout and the people who grew up with that and this residual that felt on people, and also recognizing the human connection between like human beings, period. Like when you're 10, like you don't really learn that stuff. You learn that stuff in like high school when you are just like a weeping sponge of a receptive thing.
Receptive thing.
Okay. You're an emotional receptive sponge that's emo as shit and you have emotions all the time and it sucks. High school sucks. But
how did you feel like the first time you played that? Like if looking back on it now, you obviously know, hey, this was me then. Like, how did you feel back when you played that? Like, what was the number one prevailing emotion?
Sadness. It was perpetual sadness, but also like perseverance in the face of dying hope. And these are concepts that a 10-year-old might not be able to grasp fully right away. So me playing the game, I'm like, cool, I'm sneaking around, I'm shooting bad guys. But in the back of my mind, it's like planting these seeds of like, you saw the cyborg ninja sacrifice himself and you saw Meryl go through the torture to make sure that you stayed alive. How do you feel about that? I'm like, oh no. So yeah, that game kind of drop kicked me into puberty. It was like into maturity. So
John became a real boy with that game.
Yeah, and then that kind of colored my entire outlook on life up to now. So yeah, if I could go and experience that again, I think I would. I wouldn't change it.
So since I asked you,
so this was a fun, light question.
I wanted to hit you with the surprise in our intro because our topic's pretty cool that we're going to talk about today. But before we go to that topic, for me, because I cannot leave John as the only one answering, that would be very rude. Chrono Trigger.
Oh, what the hell is Chrono Trigger?
So, I hate you. I hate you so much. My first time playing that game, I didn't know anything about it. My grandfather, he was the one who actually purchased the game for me. So, my grandfather was a big proponent of me getting into video games.
Really?
And he would always take an extra day during the week he would work extra in order to have another day off. He would always work super, super late, like a 16-hour day, in order to have another day off with me and my brother at the time.
That's cute.
And my first playthrough is my grandpa. He's actually the one doing more of the playing than I am. I'm just enjoying time with my grandfather. And I will never forget. It's the first time you go back to 65 million BC.
Uh-huh.
And Ayla, like, you pop out of the time portal, you pop down, and he sees Ayla pop up. And we're talking the Super Nintendo, right? There's no cutscenes yet, because that hadn't come out yet. And my grandfather was still like, "You shouldn't be looking at this, James."
Between your grandpa and your dad, they really did not want you to discover sex.
Not that early, I guess.
I guess not. But, Isla has that impression on a lot of people, I guess.
We beat the game, and he made it his mission because he found out through his younger coworkers who were playing the game that there were multiple endings.
Oh, my God.
He actually played every new Game Plus ending and all of the little sub endings, because there's a few of them where if you do just a little bit different, something happens, versus true new endings. And that was one of the best moments in my childhood when it came to gaming. And I would sell my left testicle to Satan and his cult in order to go back and do that again.
I want to say something snarky, but I'm not going to. That's actually really awesome, because a lot of people tell stories about their family and like not getting their hobbies or not getting their interests, and that's really freaking cool that you could share that with like family.
So I'll let you all in on a fun little secret. So my phone is always on silent. Like, I never hear it. It never vibrates. It's like super silent. When I do remember to turn the ringtone on, it's actually Shala's theme, which is like a more advanced version of the Corridors of Time theme song. And that was my grandfather's favorite song. He went out, bought the album, and had the record back in the day.
The vinyl?
We would listen to the vinyl.
Wow. Did they even press it to vinyl? That must have been like from Japan. That must have been import. Damn.
It was. So shout out to my grandfather up there in the sky. Like, thank you for starting me on this JRPG journey.
I'm picturing your grandpa as the actual guy at the end of time under the lamppost. Holy crap. So, yeah, it makes me feel really bad that we talked about my dick for like 5 minutes before we started recording.
Well, you're going to hell. And apparently me too, because I said I'd sell my left testicle to Satan and his cult.
Well, I don't think that's not your soul. He can just own your ball and just look at it.
I mean, fair.
It's like what? It's like, it's like, at least I got a piece of that son of a bitch.
Look at my shiny Rocky Mountain oyster.
Scarf it down, cowboy caviar.
So with that, don't touch that dial. When we come back, Sony kind of hit us hard with the state of play, and we're gonna hit you with some pretty awesome stuff. So don't touch that dial. So honestly, Sony, so they had their state of play. So as you know, if you took a look at our gaming news last week, E3's been canceled.
Haha, about time we killed that bastard.
And in the wake of E3 being canceled, there's a lot of shows that are kind of coming in to fill the void.
Geoff Keighley's Video Game Olympics.
So one of the things, obviously, this state of play is right before when E3 would be, and they hit the ground running. Resident Evil 4, it's getting a remake. Not like a whole new game, but like beautiful, wonderful remaster. And both John and I were both like, what?
Okay, so here's the thing. We don't know if it's going to be that way. The trailer certainly implied certain things, but in my mind, it's going to feel. I'm pretty sure it's going to be exactly like the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes before it. So I don't know if it's going to be, because they ported Resident Evil 4 so much.
I mean, Resident Evil 4 gave the blueprint of port for Skyrim.
It kind of did. And it was even on the Zeebo, which, if you're Brazilian, you know what that is.
Shout out to Brazil and the Zeebo.
Yeah, hola. Anyway, but yeah, so
Bom dia.
when we bom dia. But we saw that first, and like, okay, they're coming out hard because people knew that was coming. But then we get the VR projects coming out, and not only is friggin'
4. So Sony hit us with that, and then they were like, here are 4 PlayStation VR 2 titles in the works. The very first title going to VR,
Resident Evil 8.
Village.
With Lady Dimitrescu in VR, granting everyone's wish.
So there's going to be a lot of nerds. There's going to be a lot of
There's
broken
going to be
VR
a
sets.
lot of nerds. Mm.
There's going to be a lot of broken VR headsets and or controllers.
Because their eyes are going to pop out of their skull.
Nani?
Boy, yeah, that's what's going to happen.
It obviously it's Resident Evil 8, but the fact that you get to do this in VR, we know all the tropes, we know all of the ridiculousness with it. But
you get to actually reach out and slap her ass.
Oh no.
With the knife.
Well, we know exactly what John's going to be doing.
I am not going to spend like $500 extra for privilege goggles. No, thank you.
You say that now, but their price point will be better.
The Lady Dimitrescu bundle. Oh my god.
You would buy it.
It'd be like a model viewer.
Here, come into development mode where you can control this like Super Mario 64.
See the meshes without the textures.
Oh.
It's the Tim Allen. So yes, hitting the ground running, starting off with the Resident Evil 4 remake, the VR projects. Then they hit us with the new VR stuff for Horizon, which was pretty cool looking. It actually looks like an open world game with Horizon stuff where you're shooting the dinosaurs with a bow and arrow. That seems like it could be fun.
So it looks like they're trying to give it its own unique feel, because we have Horizon Zero Dawn, we have Horizon Forbidden West. This is Horizon Call of the Mountain. Mm-hmm. And it felt nice because it looked like it was a combination of both of the games. We had some of the robots that were from the original. There looked like to be some of the robots that were also from Forbidden West.
You had people rowing a boat wearing like pauldrons on their shoulders, and I'm like, what?
And John literally said, playing that VR would be nuts.
Yeah, because people already talk about how they feel when they are immersed in VR. And then you're like, above like a waterfall that's like hundreds of feet tall. That would be insane. As like you're freaking ziplining across. Yeah, that might be worth a try.
And they also gave us 2 other titles. So it looks like we're getting a Chapter 2. So I'm not familiar with this game, but The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Retribution Chapter 2.
What longest title of the show?
I mean, cut to clip of the girl on Oprah who has 1,300 characters in her name. I will show you that clip.
All right. We'll talk about that later. But so yeah, if you like killing zombies in VR, which is probably the first thing anyone thinks to do of in VR, there you go. The other thing that they announced was No Man's Sky getting VR.
I'm actually pumped about that. So I'm a sucker for like sci-fi, space exploration. That's another one of my guilty pleasures, like EVE Online, Star Trek games, Star Wars games. Like I love sci-fi stuff.
Did you play Star Wars Galaxies when it come out? I see you busking on the corner, man. I just see you doing it.
So I'm kind of excited. Like No Man's Sky, it's one of the games that I talk to people about where at launch it was overpromised and overhyped. Developers are on talk shows really overhyping it, and when it hit, it was very underwhelming, and it did not deliver in any way. And
yeah, they basically got high off their own supply, and people actually played it as an open world indie game with stuff in it, and that's what it was. So
And it took them a few years, but then they corrected the ship with that major patch update where now all of their promises were delivered on.
Yeah, like that's a redemption arc of a game.
And it's kind of like the Sonic movie. Remember Kid in his suit?
All you had to do was completely recast the CG monster you hired, and there you go. And then he ends up in the Chippendale movie.
Oh, no. So I'm excited for that one. That one I'm definitely going to play. So we are actually going to be getting a PlayStation VR 2.
As in
me and my wife. I mean, hey, your 50th birthday's coming up soon.
Cashing in all the next 25 years of birthdays.
25?
Shh, don't tell them. They'll know.
So those were the VR games, and in my opinion, it looks like they're taking PlayStation VR 2. They're taking it a little more seriously. It looks like the games that are coming out, they're getting a little more massaging to it, and I'm kind of excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see because the experience of VR, people will continue to say is the future of video gaming, and if it's affordable and if it provides experiences that actually, are valuable to do, because it's kind of like when the Kinect came out and Dance Central was its best game because dancing was already a fun thing people liked to do. With the Kinect, what were you going to do? Steel Battalion 2 that didn't work, so you're trying to wash the windows and then you hit the self-destruct button? No, that's not fun. It's potentially fun, but if you do it wrong, it sucks. So it'll be curious to see just what the VR stuff that actually will come out is going to do, because it's Beat Saber and what?
And horror games that you watch your friends get
Freak
terrified at.
Yeah, and then people who are walking across a skyline, and then they jump ahead over something, and then they jump into their TV. But
so
yeah,
it looks promising. It looks like they've put more development into it. It looks less gimmicky. Obviously, what we saw was a very microscopic look at it. So I will fully reserve my judgment until they come out. But the next awesomeness that we got.
Are we going to talk about the minor stuff, or are we going to go to the next game with the kitty cat?
No, we're talking about the minor stuff. So for all of you people who enjoyed Horizon Forbidden West, which, as you know, launched during the Elden Ring times, so it might have been the game forgotten if you were an Elden Ring person.
Do you think it's funny that Horizon was the open world game that came out before Breath of the Wild, and its sequel was the open world game that came out before Elden Ring?
Pick your poison. Which one do you want?
The good one or the
Yep. So they're getting a major update, and that update, we are getting a new game plus with end game gear. So that's kind of exciting, which to me means we might get some potential like end game bosses, some other stuff besides your typical mechanics with it. But they're kind of doing it right. They added a ultra hard difficulty. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at you, Elden Ring. So if a game can add
is Elden Ring not hard enough?
No. So hear me out. If a game can add an increased difficulty, because it already offers an easy and a normal and a hard, like Horizon offers various modes.
Yeah, okay.
So, and now they're adding a super hard mode, right?
Uh-huh.
If a game can do that, offer the easy mode. We get your game is meant to be hard, but for people who want to purchase your game and give you their money, here you go as a patch. Looking at you, Elden Ring.
I'm going to also bookmark this, listeners at home, because we didn't really go over it in the intro, but I have more to say on some stuff that I was going to provide in the intro, but we'll save that for the outro, so stick around for that.
So, now, moving along.
We get the PC port of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I want to see both Spider-Man fanboys and Sony fanboys be pissed about this for some reason, because that's what happened when Horizon 1 came to the PC.
I mean, let's be real. It's going to be the Spider-Man looking at Spider-Man meme. That's the meme that describes this.
How are you in 8K? I don't know, man. My graphics are better. My ray tracing's better. I run at 60 frames.
I can use your controller and enjoy God tier.
And an Xbox controller. Blasphemer.
Just merge it and it's a PSX Ox.
PSX box. Yeah.
It's a pissing box.
it's a piss box. Yeah, that's what I use it for. I use my freaking George Foreman grill PS3, and I use my PS5 as a toilet. No, he has an air purifier like those memes when they came out.
So
remember things? Those were funny. That's what I used to replace my own humor. That's why I don't have to try.
Oh my god.
So PC port of Spider-Man, great game, a lot of fun. Cool that they're getting it on PC, and
Yeah, I mean, so outside of that, so that's kind of your, like, the VR stuff is cool, the remake stuff was cool, but then
We got some new shit.
this state of play took off. So one of the games I'm most excited for, and I remember when we watched the initial reveal trailer of the PS5, and I was like, I am getting this day one.
Catboys Unite.
Stray has a date of July 19th coming to the masses. I am so fucking excited.
I want to play, especially because I know that you can talk now. I actually want to pretend I'm playing as Garfield.
Like, let's be real. You're a cat, as they described it. You're a cat in a futuristic cyberpunk city.
So you're going to meet Johnny Silverhand and...
And so a friend of ours was watching this with us, and he's like, look, you can be an asshole. Like, you can be an asshole just like your cat, because he's walking on the roof in the trailer that they're showing us and knocking over bottles.
Yep. Friggin', and like I said, I'm going to play that entire game pretending I'm Garfield. I'm going to role play. Who knows? We might stream it, and I'll just do the Garfield voice the whole time.
Like, I have no idea what the game's going to be about, but I'm still getting it because I love new IPs.
Unique experiences, man.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about. We talk about that all the time in the gamer sphere. We do that. It's like there's no new ideas, there's no original stuff, and then a Catboy simulator comes out. You're like,
So, well, speaking of new stuff, so the next thing that came out,
I like how we say new stuff, even though this trailer was cut and looks exactly like a different game.
So we're watching. So the next thing that they revealed was the Callisto Protocol, which is coming out later this year in December.
Right after Halloween, which is kind of weird.
The entire time, our friend watching that with us and John, they're both like, is this Dead Space?
This is Dead Space.
This is Dead Space.
Yeah, because just everything about it, between the freaking battery HUD thing on the back and the alien xenomorph looking things that are all around you. I didn't play the whole franchise, so I don't know the monsters' names. Whatever. Mutants, crazy space aliens, weird stuff, horror, scary, gruesome, getting faces bit off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you see some dude just get his face yanked off,
and you see a robot just run up and just freaking like ice a dude, just blow his brains out against a freaking steel wall. Holy shit! It's like that scene in the Resident Evil 2 remake where Mr. X comes through and crushes that guy's head against the wall. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where he's just like trying to pull him through, and then his head can't fit, so it just cuts off half his head.
So it definitely did give Dead Space vibes, but if you're into basically survival horror, sci-fi in space, it's right up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, because what the hell is EA doing with Dead Space right now? Nothing besides the remake.
Now, yeah, I mean, that is very fair. So something, however, that cannot be confused with anything else. Both John and I were like, yo, I want this game. Imagine this is the pitch. Roller skating. Roller derby. With pistols.
With guns.
Just pistols? No, sniper rifles and grenade launchers and a mech. Yeah. And it's a battle royal.
Hell yeah. Okay, I want to play this. This is like Knockout City, but with guns.
So this game, it's called Roller Drome.
Hell yeah.
It looks to be a new battle royal. Probably not going to feature 100v100 or anything like that. It's probably going to say like 8-man death matches, shit like that.
It seems like it's tailor made for like the Quake 3 arena types of people who are tired of battle royals and just want deathmatch and TDMs.
I am excited. Like, so in the trailer, you see the person, they hit the half pipe, they break through the glass, grab their upgrade,
doing crazy tricks,
pop down through the glass and like murk someone. You see the guy launch over the ramp, over the half pipe ramp, over the sniper, kills the sniper by like turning and shooting. So it looks like they've incorporated really, really good motion effect, motion tracing. I mean, they were grinding on the sides of buildings, for crying out loud, in that trailer.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do for your video game is make it fun and make it look cool while you're doing it. So that's the premise alone has sold me.
So far, I'm buying the PlayStation VR set, the VR2. I'm definitely buying No Man's Sky for VR. Like, that's going to be awesome.
Okay, have fun never seeing anyone again. You'll be in the real metaverse.
What happened to games with John and James? James died.
No, James is in space.
It's the final frontier.
And it's right there on your eyeball screen.
And then I'm buying Stray, and I'm getting Roller Drome. I'm already buying quite a few things.
You're
Thanks,
also
Sony.
gonna buy Eternites.
The game literally, so this trailer opens up, and it's an anime cutscene. And before the cutscene, it's literally words and being read. And John's like, oh, look, a JRPG. And I just look over at him with squinty eyes like, how dare you? And sure as shit, Kid's arm gets cut off, and it gets replaced with this weird energy arm.
It's funny, too, because I really wish we were streaming our live reaction to this, because we watched it together, where I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's Corpse Party? And then he makes it into like a sword, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's not Corpse Party.
So it's an action...
It actually looks fun. Ayo!
Oof. So it's an action RPG / dating sim. Kind of has... From what we saw in the trailer for the combat, it has your God of War action button press, your Asura's Wrath action button press. The dating sim aspect, they definitely had some fan service there. You could literally at one point in the trailer...
still images that look like Moe art, yeah.
There was one point in the trailer, the guy was holding R2 to hold hands. I was like, yep.
Don't turn into a sword. Don't turn into a sword.
I'm sorry, I cut your hand off.
I'm sorry, I cut your fingies off. Also, I got to say something real quick. So all the fun I poke at these types of games, I've always wondered why there hasn't been even like an M-rated release other than like in the eroge genre where we've actually had quality video games, action games, or whatever type of games you want to play that also had those elements in it.
So Japan's a weird culture. Like, they're not big on like the mature and everything like that. And I think that plays... I think that's what kind of limits it over here, because look at so many RPGs. Look at Final Fantasy Type 0. That one was mature rating. I loaned that one to you.
Right, but what I'm saying is that actual mechanics that go into like the actual porn game genre, because like the ones that we see are things like Honey Pop, where like it's it's Bust a Move or whatever, or Puyo Pop, but then you see naked girls or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Why not have like a thing where you play Resident Evil and then there's like a sex scene? You know what I mean? This is definitely going to be an explicit episode. Okay. But no, this is
my co-host, ladies and gentlemen.
After the last episode, nothing's off the table, man.
Yeah, for you, that's pretty damn accurate.
But it's what I'm saying. So, like, why not have a good game and also have the naughty bits? You know what I mean? That way, because people who play these games could have the old Playboy argument if I read it for the articles.
Japan already has a problem with people marrying sex robots. Do you really think they want to have an increased problem?
I think that would give them agency to not do it. Just don't put it on the friggin' Vita.
I mean, it's a brand new JRPG. It's a new IP. Combat looked really fun. The story can go any which way. It looks like it's the end of the world. Monsters come in. You got to hook up with your high school sweetheart, or the goth-looking girl with the pigtails. Yep.
Or the dude, maybe.
Hey, you never know. It's a whole new dating world.
That'd be a progressive game for Japan.
Now, I'm excited. This is day one buy for me, everyone. But the next one.
Oh my God. Yes.
John's jaw. I'm not gonna say what the next reveal was, but when it popped up and John had the moment of clarity click, because for like the first 3 seconds, it's like, wait. And then when it fully registers what it is, his jaw drops, his eyes bulge, and he was literally looking like that fat kid at Christmas that's getting the cookies, and he's just like, oh, the cookies, oh, the cookies, oh, the cookies.
Because, also that's exactly how I sounded when I was a fat little kid. No, but the thing is that because it was so ambiguous, and it opens up with the city, and it says Metro City, so I know it's in the Street Fighter universe. So, okay, they announced Street Fighter 6. Is this a new thing that's going to be in there? Is it going to be a new final fight? We don't know. But then you see Luke in the gym, in the dojo, like hitting the bag, and I'm like, okay, so Street Fighter 6 just do stuff. But then he's walking around the city and like talking to people and like hanging around in this hub world and exploring it. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way there's going to be an open world Street Fighter game.
You would buy that, wouldn't you?
Of course I would, because I'd walk around and be like, "Hey, you want to fight?" And he's like, "Yeah." And like the world,
just bump into an NPC, be like, "You looked at me wrong, 5-year-old."
Yeah, you could
prepare to fight.
It'd be like freaking Turf Wars, where like you just kind of pose up, is like what's up? No, but then they show the actual fighting, and the fighting looks awesome. It looks way more fluid than Street Fighter V was. I loved Street Fighter V, but it was very rudimentary and a little stiff.
The blend of so what I'll say for Street Fighter 6 in the promo that we saw, the fighting, the combos were polished, the moves looked blended perfectly. There was nothing really stiff about punches or the kicks. And
you had a dude who was literally b-boy and fighting. So I want to know who that is, because that's awesome.
It also looks like the finishers combined some type of like paint splash when they happened, and it gave you just this really cool artistic intensity, because at one point you get to see everybody do their equivalent of a finisher. Chun-Li goes in, Ryu with a beard, by the way. So Ryu has finally given up being a clean-shaven, 20-year-old for life.
No, he's full daddy mode now. he's your karate dad.
I'm your karate daddy.
And he's doing the Shin Shoryuken, and he's looking all swole, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. But, also, you mentioned the paint splash effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Street Fighter 4 comes out, and it has this kind of not ukiyo-e. It has this, what was the brush painting called? Dang it. But no, it has that kind of ink wash, painterly calligraphy type look with its splash effects and stuff in the trailer. And then Street Fighter 5 comes out and it looks like this weird, amalgamation of I don't know, banana hair for Ken. I didn't get the whole aesthetic there. It looked too plasticky and weird. But now you got this stuff that's a bit more refined and it has that kind of it's really going hard on this whole Street Fighter aspect of it, where you're in alleyways and there's graffiti and all this cool aesthetic stuff, and I'm just like, oh, this is going back to the streets. I like this. And the logo's way better too. Thank God.
The end logo, you see Street Fighter pop up, and this octagon shaped thing hits, spins and rotates, looks like it's going on Fighter. The words pop out, all graffitied, pop back in, and then the image in the background that's spinning, it turns into the 6 behind the words. This was a well done teaser. This leaves you wanting. And John, verbatim, I'm going to quote him here because I literally looked at him. I was like, "Oh, you're going to buy all the versions?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm going to buy all 9 million of them."
Yeah, because they're going to come out with arcade edition and championship mode.
And then you got your classic, then your collectors, then your collectors of the collector's edition,
and it's going to come with a statue that you'll hate in a month.
No, because that can be your piece de la resistance at work.
I have my hype beast Goku. I'm fine.
That's fair.
I have Kid Goku in friggin' shattered backboards, and he looks dope.
So honestly, that's a game I'm gonna buy. I know John's gonna buy. We will eventually play it together. Someday we're gonna get better about gaming together. But
you need to stop traveling so much, and then I also need to invite you over to my house. I need to allow you in.
I mean, that is also fair. Stop being a loner.
No, you're just a vampire. I don't want you in my house. Because you know what happens when you invite him in, ladies and gentlemen?
He never leaves. He sucks away all of the energy for any other game but a JRPG and leaves you with JRPG soul.
Finish your show, all right? Finish your show so we can post it. What's that alluding to? But anyway.
So, honestly, out of everything up to that point in the reveal, that was the best one revealed. 10 out of 10, that's a day one purchase. If you enjoy fighting games, even if you don't enjoy fighting games and you've maybe been a little curious about it, you got to get it. You got to play it.
Yeah, if you are anything like me and have been playing fighting games since ever, you're going to play it.
The next one,
another indie showcase. Now.
If you have PC or you have Xbox, it was on Game Pass. It's Tunic. It's a little indie RPG with a fox.
It feels so weird hearing you say Game Pass and Xbox.
I mean, you didn't see the vomit that just came out as well.
The Europe that you had to stifle.
No, it was Game Pass, just dribbling down.
Oh God.
So it's already been out there. People have already experienced it. A lot of people have been talking about it. For indie RPGs, it's actually kind of a return to form of the good days of indie RPGs, because so many of them are coming out here recently where they're getting kind of watered down, and or it's I've played this before in this.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where Elden Ring. It's like when people would go into pitch meetings, you can hear the pitch meeting of it's Dark Souls, and then they would do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate the idea of them going back to a style. I haven't played Tunic, but I've seen reviews of it and seen people play it where it's you have to actually read the instruction manual and it's in a different language, and how do you decipher all this? And so there's that kind of meta game inside the game is kind of cool.
That was really cool. At the very end, you see the pages kind of closing, and then the book closes, and it cuts to Tunic. Mm. It was well done. So
you played it?
So I haven't played it. I'm just talking about the teaser trailer.
Oh, right.
People in that Discord we're in. So shout out to the Discord server we're on, where a lot of people in our area of expertise with video game podcasts or gaming podcasts, a lot of a lot of doc. Blech.
Okay.
A lot of talk, a lot of dialogue actually happens between creatives. Ideas are shared. It's a very wonderful space for creatives, and I super appreciate being a part of that because it's just good times.
Yeah, I mean, shooting the shit with people who actually are doing the same thing you are, or at least have informed opinions or thoughts on things and want to share them. It's like actually having conversations with people. It's pretty nice. And then there's me who just posts things about Sonic every time I can.
I know you guys are talking about this, but Sonic.
Yeah, look at him. Look at him stand on this tower. Look at him stand on this tower. Another thing that I can talk about later.
So...
And what would close the show? I want to just give you the floor, because this is what closed the show, man. Well, because Season's the other one that looks like an art project game.
Season, A Letter to the Future, it looks like a kind of...
It's Pokemon Snap.
It's an artistic expression game.
Uh-huh.
The dialogue that is being talked about in the background about she visits us and you want to just tell her your story. It's very... This game could go in a multiple of ways. It's like, is she a medium for people going to the afterlife? Is she like... I don't know anything about it whatsoever, so I'm going to take a deeper look so I can talk about it with you.
That's the thing, is that when you see trailers like this, because you think of a game like Spiritfarer, and you think of a game like Paparazzi, you think of a game like What Remains of Edith Finch or Gone Home, and you just see all these things that are, you know what you're looking at, but it's represented in such an abstract way that you're like, okay, what is this? And that's the whole point, because the way that I described it was like, it's an art project game. So someone had this story they wanted to tell, or some vision they wanted to create, and then they made a game as the way to deliver that. Yes, that's how the way to deliver the story. But
I like as our episodes progress,
I sound
like
progressively
your
more.
closeted mega nerd is coming out.
I like the fact that Tunic was green, because that reminds me of Zelda from Legend of Zelda.
Sure, you need to know. Let me put my glasses up. Sure, you're gonna need to know.
See, do you know what I did? You see what I did right there, where I called him Zelda? But yes, so that game looks great. Artistic-y is stuff.
It's open. I appreciate a game. So generally, when a trailer hits, you know exactly what you're getting from. So Stray, we don't really know how it's playing. I appreciate that. But if we look at the Callisto Protocol, we know. Rollerdrome, we know. Eternites, we know. Street Fighter 6, we know. All of the VR games, we know what we're getting.
You see this game like Seasons, and you're like, huh.
It's like
biking and camera. Okay.
And weird bonding moments.
Yeah, and talking to people. It's like, okay.
So it's open for interpretation. It's I personally haven't played a lot of the very artistic games, but I will definitely give it a shot. I'm talking about it, so I might as well speak it into fucking existence.
I know it was during the PlayStation state of play, but if it's on Game Pass, I'll give it a try.
Hey, there you go. And to end the show...
Yeah, this was the showstopper.
Woo!
In literal terms. In literal terms.
Final Fantasy 16.
We actually saw gameplay that had a HUD in it, so I know it's real.
So...
I want to say this real quick before you jump in, because I want to give you the floor on this. I live tweeted over on our Twitter, that's Games with the J and J, if you want to follow us there. I live tweeted the state of play, and when it got to Final Fantasy 16, I was like, okay, yeah, we get it next. And then after it ended, I'm like, okay, yeah, that looked pretty cool.
So we finally got to see in depth for some of the combat. Obviously, they didn't break down quite a bit.
Yeah, it is 2 for 2.
I know.
On thin ice, mister.
My grammar is my grammar hurts.
my mouth hurts from talking too hard.
It's John quoted it best as we were watching it. He's like, "Oh, this is kind of giving me Devil May Cry vibes," and he said, "I'm all for this."
I consider that very much a faux pas, because I really hate how we look at games and we compare them immediately to other games. But anyway,
well, if a game gives you vibes of a game that you enjoyed, that's a good thing, because normally
it's the way you relate to something.
Yes, but also normally a game like this, you would have, let's be real, if this trailer looked nothing like it was and it was turn-based or more traditional Final Fantasy, you would have been like, cool, that's all you, James. But even you said you were interested.
Yeah, because I don't want a hybrid system like the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't want turn-based, and I would prefer it if I actually hit a button, an action would happen.
So we kind of got the reveal of, so they showed you multiple NPCs, or they could be enemies, that were the various summons. Titan, Garuda, Ifrit, Phoenix, so on and so forth.
What was the word that they called them?
They called them dominants.
So here's my thing: is that I think the main character, just based on now I'm just analyzing the trailer itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think your main character is basically the harbinger of Ifrit, and that's what the story is going to be. Is that like it sets up this war between all these, I'm assuming, clans and factions that are these summons, are these dominators, and and then when they transform into those summons, that's basically like, oh, that's, like the Master Chief, or like that's our, ace in the hole, who's like our general who's going to kill all the bad guys for us. So I'm assuming that it's going to be about warring clans and who's going to be the right to remain God after this. That's what I'm assuming is the story's going to be. Which is remarkably simple for a Final Fantasy story.
Fair. The other thing John mentioned is, why don't we see more like blood, more adult, more mature themes for Final Fantasy?
Get out of freaking high school.
And sure as shit,
yeah,
you see it cuts to like a war happening. Two factions attack each other. You're seeing blood flying. Like you literally see a soldier axe cut another soldier. You see blood fly from the neck,
guy reaches
chest
for
area.
his neck, and then but I even noticed that stuff even from the initial trailer, where like they cut a dude and then the little kid wearing all white gets sprayed with blood, and it's kind of funny.
Wow.
Because I'm pretty sure he's going to be a Dominator, and he's going to have a monster in him. Okay, they're called Dominators now, I'm calling it.
John's forever putting that one into existence.
Yes.
And it went even more dark. So you actually got to see what we used to call summons, then Esper. So Espers, then summons, then Espers, then summons. It's just a constant pendulum. Now these dominants, we saw at one point Shiva fighting Titan. You see Bahamut. Like, you actually saw, did you see the part where one of them got their, like, arm just, like, shanked off?
Yeah, like, Bahamut, like, opened up his mouth laser. He fired his laser and...
What is fired?
Firing my laser!
You're 1 for 1. You're on thin ice.
No, I did that on purpose.
On purpose?
Now you're just gaslighting me, and that's not cool. But, yeah, so we saw him shoot his freaking mouth laser and blow his wings off, and I was like, holy crap.
So
maybe it's gonna be like Animorphs, where you have to morph back into a human and come back.
Oh god, it's just book cover after book cover.
Could you imagine if there was an actual Final Fantasy cover of the main character transforming into like a horse?
Well,
that would be amazing.
Well, I know a guy who does graphics who should maybe make that happen for our Twitter. You're gonna do it, aren't you?
I just like the idea.
Do it.
I like the idea of like, oh god,
you're gonna do it, aren't you?
Yeah, I see it in my head, and I'm like, oh, I need to make this.
So it looks amazing. I'm a little bummed that it is delayed till 2023. However, more time in development, more time improving, more time streamlining, more time potentially giving us a complete game at launch versus something with a patch. I am all for.
Do we know how much involvement Nomura has in this development?
We do not, but let's pray they gave him drugs and he was sitting in a corner.
We gave him something to take the edge off. Hopefully he's working on KH4 and making that whatever the hell he wants it to be. But okay, yeah, it looks promising. It looks simple. It looks like we get it immediately. Wars between the summons. I'm there for that. As long as they keep it that way, we'll see where it goes.
John, spoken into existence. He's buying it with me. Day one.
I'm not going to buy it. Maybe it'll be on Game Pass. Or on the PlayStation
Pass.
The PlayStation. The PSP. Wait a minute.
Bring it back.
Bring back this decade-old console.
So,
okay.
They closed out the State of Play. Pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah,
and
that was a good show, man. Like, I'll give them the kudos.
That was I'd say it was a solid like 9.5.
I'd give it an 8.
Well, you can go blow off.
I do.
So, I'm excited for quite a few things. Some of it was just like, cool. Like, I'm not a big Resident Evil person, but the fact that Resident Evil 4 is getting yet another remake and it looked promising.
Yet another remake. Yeah, I'll tell you what, can we go to, let's cut to break here for a second, and then we'll do kind of our wind down. And I promised I would talk about some things that I was going to talk about during the intro. Let's hit him with that for the ending. What do you say? and his cool friend Ice Pick.
Whoever thought of those names, man.
I like the idea of Frieza coming out saying, "You have to beat the entire Frieza family, myself, Cooler, and my cool friend in this leather jacket named Ice Pick."
Did you say Ice Cube?
Ice Pick.
But why does he look like a cube?
It's just a freaking penguin with a switchblade. I have to say that was inspired by a thing I heard a long time ago. It's like, yeah, this is the New Testament where Jesus comes back with his cool friend, Jason.
Oh, man. So, honestly, they did a wonderful job on that state of play.
Yeah,
I'm still kind of chuckling.
You're chuckling at our freaking preamble bullshit, which you might or might not have heard. Who knows? But yeah, they put on a good show. I was impressed. They didn't like rehash a bunch of stuff, which was nice. They rehashed the things that people cared about. We care about Kitty Cat Game. We care about Final Fantasy, and other than that, it was all new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
and even John's going to be buying some PS5 stuff.
I'm going on the frickin' record here. I am not a console loyalist. I prefer to play games on my Xbox because I have the services I prefer on Xbox. If you're telling me I could get everything I get with my Xbox on a PlayStation, I'd be playing my PS5 all day. So I'm just clearing the air right now. Did I just ruin the joke? Did I do that?
No, I'm secretly hoping Capcom is like, hey, in a return to form, we're going to only be releasing on PlayStation.
No! And we're starting with Beautiful Joe 3. No! And Okami 2. No!
Just see John, it's like head explode. I'm okay.
It's
head explode. I'm okay.
It's Silver Linings Playbook. It's like, what the fuck? And I throw my controller out the window.
Basically, very accurate. So it was a lot of fun. I'm excited so this was honestly like the kickoff event for all of the shows that they're gonna replace.
Excuse you, Sonic Frontiers, man.
Hold, I was about to give you a wonderful red carpet welcome. So redact your ears. redact
your ears. Put black bars on them. You can't hear anything.
So, as I mentioned, if you've been following us on Instagram at Games with John and James, by the way, in our news post we did last Wednesday, we finally got to also see some really, really exciting true gameplay footage of something John has been chomping at the bits for, and I want to walk him in with some amazing fanfare because I sent it to him. He's like, "Oh, I've seen this. This is awesome." I watched that trailer 3 times to where I would be prepared to talk about it with him. There are no words. All of the people who are naysayers about it, cool, whatever, you're going to naysay to naysay.
You've been naysaying since Sonic 06, so shut up.
Sonic Frontiers gave us gameplay. And honestly, open world Sonic,
I'm there.
It's genius. And John, as you gave me the floor for Final Fantasy 16, here's this Sonic Frontier carpet for you.
You're rolling out the blue carpet is what you're doing. Oh, that just sounds like it's Sonic's pussy. No. But
I'm taking it back.
You don't get the blue carpet. Dang it, I really wanted to eat Sonic. Anyway, no. Sonic Frontiers gameplay. Finally see it. It's delivering pretty much everything we assumed it was going to be. Open world exploration Sonic the Hedgehog gameplay. Now, people who are naysaying right now are basically looking at this and saying, oh, it sounds like not Sonic. It just sounds like it's borrowing too much from that other game or this other game. And that's bad for some reason, because why would you want a game to be fun in a different way? Gee, I don't know. But I can understand where some people are coming from when they see like the rails floating in the sky for no reason. It's an abstract video game world, so I'm kind of okay with it, really. Also, if you think about it from the aesthetics of the game, when you break down the trailer, it doesn't seem like we are seeing the whole picture. It seems like there's a lot of weird cyber influence into it, where like maybe this is a simulation world, because it looks gamey, but that might go into like the storyline, because someone on Twitter posted this, but there's like a texture of like a bridge or something that is borrowed entirely from something that was in the Death Egg from Sonic Forces, and I'm like, whoa, but it's destroyed. So maybe this is a creation or involves Infinite somehow. Maybe it involves a new villain that got away. I don't know. Maybe the Phantom Ruby's coming back. I have more questions. That's good. I am curious and intrigued, and I want to play it. Also, it's Sonic. He's running around. He's grinding rails, collecting rings, going off springs, doing other things that I can't rhyme with right now. I want to play it.
So, one, if you haven't listened to our top 10 Sonic episode, please go and listen to that. Because
Please do. That's my life's work.
That's my magnum opus.
Yes.
So, that is an amazing list to go in and enjoy some Sonic stuff. This, yes, Sonic has tons of games. Yes, Sonic has gone from Sonic and the Black Knight to Sonic and the Secret Rings, of which, by the way, is still in his desk and work area.
I need to find it, because I need to either find it and then put it back, or find it and then proceed to burn it.
So he literally the other day, he's like, I looked in every drawer. Where is it? And so here's the funny story. So I literally was like, oh, it's still there. Don't look in that ceiling tile. And he's like, don't you do this to me. You didn't look in that ceiling tile, did you?
I'm scared to now.
It was there, actually. No, it's been moved.
So it's a scavenger hunt now. Okay.
I'm moving it every single day because it's a secret ring. Long pause for effect. I broke John. Did you just shit your pants on air?
Yeah, I think I just had a hemorrhage too.
So what do you think of the ongoing secret ring, John?
I'm gonna be PCS'd, and then it's gonna still be in my desk at my new job site, you know? Like, I'm just kind of looking forward to that, where somehow it teleports into my life and I can't escape it.
I can actually make that happen, because wherever you go, I'm gonna know someone.
They can't see my face right now, but that was a face of, like, rage and horror.
It was raging terror.
Yes. So it's going to be like that. Somebody's watching me.
Oh, actually, no. Speaking of somebody watching you.
Great. What now?
So for every week, so I'm going to tell you how committed I am to this joke. Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it first on air.
For fuck's sake.
Because he doesn't even know this.
Oh, no.
Every week, John goes without finding this game. Another copy is being added to the mix.
Of the same game? How do you even have them? If you're burning copies, that's illegal.
No, I would never do that. You know me. I went out and I purchased 52 copies of Sonic and the Secret Rings for this joke. How do you feel knowing that there are 52 copies of this game that if you don't find, and by the way, you have to find the original one. So if it's 5 weeks in and you find the 4 that were added after the original, by the way, the original is with a label on it that also says original. I made sure to not cheat.
Are they only in the office?
Yes.
Okay. So that's good to know, so I don't, wake up and shit one out. Like you didn't grind one down and feed it to me, you freaking psycho.
How do you feel knowing that if you don't find that original one, there's going to be 52 of these things floating around work?
I want to be a spoilsport and just not do it.
Well, that's fine. Then at the very end of it, all 52 will be sitting on your desk. And that will be even worse.
And then we're going to Burger King right after, and I'm going to buy you so many cheeseburgers.
So
you will be a cow when I'm done with you.
So what he's referencing is a few years back, some friends at work were looking at Burger King coupons. And by the way, this is completely random. We have derailed completely, but I am all for this.
I was really excited to talk about Sonic and Scarlet Nexus, and now we're talking about this bullshit.
We'll bring them back with a high. But someone at work was like, man, who could eat this much Burger King? So it was a coupon for $13.99. 3 Whoppers, 3 double cheeseburgers, 3 small fries.
And 3 Cokes.
No, it wasn't 3 Cokes, remember?
You didn't even get a drink?
I got a drink. You didn't get the drink.
No, but it didn't come with... That's a shit coupon.
It's horrible, right?
Ugh.
So, without missing a beat, someone we work with is like, oh, I bet James could eat it. And so they come over, they're like, hey, if you do this, so I eat a lot. You can ask John. My stomach is a bottomless fucking pit.
And you're skinny too, which makes you a bastard.
Metabolism.
Yeah, my friggin' mutt race genes that make me a fat Irish Walish motherfucker. I don't think it's Walish.
Oh God. So I'm like, challenge accepted. John over here. I'm getting ready to do it, and I walk over to him. I walk over to him. I was like, hey, you want to do a food challenge? So this is, mind you, this is right before our little Christmas break because we'll allow time off either for New Year's or Christmas with where we work. And John was like, yeah, I'll do it. Why not? So we go there.
I want to put everybody in the mindset that I was in because this is like my first time I've been away from like my family for Christmas time. And I'm trying to even figure out how I even celebrate on my own just as a human being on this planet. And so I was at work. I had no work to do. So I was pretty much sitting at my desk doing nothing. And then that comes up and then I stare off into space, 1,000-yard stare style. I'm like, is this really what we're doing today? Fuck it. Yeah, we're doing it.
And we devoured it. So John was smart with his. He made sure veggies stayed on it. I ordered without veggies. And then John at one point put his fries in the burger to double whammy it down.
I used to be a professional fat guy, so I can eat my shit.
We both finished. John finished first.
Yes, I did.
I was struggling to complete this, and then everybody at work decided to make me laugh.
Oh, wow, that was the best.
As I'm laughing, I'm just like, oh God, I feel it moving. Oh, it's traveling through my intestines. Oh God, please stop.
Yeah,
they're dying laughing. I start laughing at them laughing, and it's just agony.
I felt bad, but at the same time, I'm just like, I just feel.
John had his Batman voice. You are now one with the night.
Swear to me, eat this burger.
Dr. Fishy. No!
Are we past the point where Batman has to sound like that? Because I hope so.
I think we are. So, complete random tangent, but I wanted to allow you into the manicness that is my brain. John will either discover the secret ring, the original, or he's going to have a whole hell of a lot of secret rings that he will never escape.
If I do end up getting a whole lot of them, I'm promising this right now on the show, I will autograph them and send them to random people. So if you are a viewer who has a Wii or even just wants to put it on your shelf, yeah, whatever happens, however many copies I end up getting, we'll Instagram it. So if you want a copy that's autographed by me for some reason, we'll make it happen for you.
So I apologize for that very long deviation, but it was awesome that I.
Are you also the Zodiac killer? Like, what the hell? Because this is a sociopath move.
So John actually made mention of something that is near and dear my heart.
Scarlet Nexus, really?
I enjoyed that game. That was actually one of my favorite recent RPGs. And prior to the podcast, he shed some wonderful light because he had a moment.
I had a brain blast, literally.
And tell us how your journey in Scarlet Nexus is going.
So I was pretty strong about some of my qualms with the game at the very beginning because there were just elements I saw that I was like, great, I have to do this. But as I've played more of it and it's kind of gotten out of its own way, I've started to enjoy it a bit more. One thing I did too was I reduced the difficulty. I was playing on normal mode, and I just don't think that there's any value in getting better at this game because why care? So I dropped it down to easy mode, and I'm, wasting the monsters and having way more fun instantly just by, being stronger and doing cool things like doing the breakdown and then throwing them against the wall with your psycho power and Bison. But then I discovered the brain points, and I'm like, oh, so now all of my things that I hate about the combat system are actually getting rectified, so sweet. Now I can actually play the game better. So the gameplay itself has gotten better to me, which is nice. And I've gone on a few of the, I don't think they're called dates, but they are dates because you hang out with the girls.
Let's be real, they are. That's what they are.
Because, I'm going to say something that I'm not going to repeat. No, but I've gotten to the point where there was the mission that's underground in the subway station, and we saw Nicole get her clairvoyant moment where she takes a bullet for her sister, and then she turns into some persona-looking monster, and it's freaky, and I'm like, oh, okay, this suddenly got instantly interesting. They took the nice girl with the blonde hair, who's the cute little one, and basically destroyed her, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty ballsy move story-wise. Let's see where this goes. So now the plot has thickened, and I'm actually curious as to why this is happening, what the others actually are, and why that matters. So it actually hooked me. It took 3 hours to get there, but it actually hooked me. So
I'm shedding tears here, ladies and gentlemen.
There's crocodile tears. He's not crying.
So, no, it makes me happy to hear John actually enjoy an RPG because it's been a struggle to get him to enjoy it. Just as on the flip side, it's been a struggle to get me to play some of your recommendations.
What were the ones that you had the most trouble with?
It's not that I had the most trouble with them. It's just that, like, my
phrasing. That's all.
It's my backlog was so endless. I didn't want to cut the backlog, so to speak. You know what I mean?
You cut it with cocaine.
Which, funny enough, I'm speaking into existence.
Oh God!
So
not another one of these.
I want to. No. I want to.
This is episode XXX New Deal Supreme.
3 deals in one.
God.
So
one for each X.
This is actually a speak into existence.
That's 3 for 3. You're out.
You're out for next week.
Uh-huh.
And next week, I'm actually with John. We are going to be talking about how to handle your backlog, especially when you have multiple games that are either coming out, you are enjoying playing, and the trials it is to literally get over like game freeze because you don't know what to play. So that is our next week's episode. I wanted to give you a little preview on air. And as always, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Games with John and James. You love what I did there. I gave you veritable podcast blue balls. So, I'm James.
And I'm John.
And this is Games with John and James Z.
And this joke needs to die right here.
It is the end of the episode, and the Sony Z fighters stand victorious. John and James. James gluttonizing over all of his JRPGs, and John looking at him like a coked out crackhead. Tune in next week for James Gets Help.
We all need some help. All right, see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.